In 1973, FedEx almost died. The payroll was due, planes were grounded, $5,000 left in the bank. That was not even enough to buy one fuel tank. One fuel tank to keep the company alive for another week. So the founder took the last $5,000 to Las Vegas. And if that sounds insane, good. Because the way you are treating your podcast isn't nearly insane enough. Welcome back to Your Mic. My name is Freddie Cruz. This is a podcast for new and aspiring podcast hosts. Back to FedEx. They launched in the early 1970s with a crazy idea. Overnight delivery to a bunch of American cities using its own fleet of small planes. And it actually worked. The planes flew, packages arrived. The problem was not the idea, it was the economics. It's always about economics, always about the money. Fuel prices spiked after the oil crisis. If you think prices are bad today, ask your grandparents about the 70s. Now, FedEx was losing more than $1 million every single month. Investors were tapped out. The company was down to its last $5,000 in cash. That wouldn't even cover one fuel bill. Founder Fred Smith flew to meet a defense contractor, General Dynamics, to beg for more funding. They said no, and that should have been the end. Instead of flying home to Memphis in defeat, however, Fred took that last 5 G's to Vegas, sat down at a blackjack table, and walked away with about $27,000 to $32,000, depending on whose version of the story you read. But regardless, it was enough to pay the immediate fuel bill and keep the planes in the air for one more week. Yeah, 1 week. But that lifeline gave him enough time to raise millions more and build the FedEx you and I know today. Now here's the thing. Back to podcasting. Most podcast hosts would never do this with their show. They'll grind out episodes. They'll be consistent. But they will not place an uncomfortable, very public bet on themselves. They stay safe. Fluffy topics that never make anybody angry, 10-minute intros about nothing, episodes released when inspiration hits. Then they wonder why the graph is flat. Your version of Vegas is not gambling your mortgage, it's not betting everything on the blackjack table. No, it's about making decisions that feel a little more dangerous to your ego and your comfort and saying to hell with everybody else's opinion. Example, out loud, on the air. Bet on a schedule. Your Mic, that's my podcast. It drops twice a week through the holidays. No skips, no ghosting. Yes, I know there's a listenership drop off in the holiday months and into January, but if I miss, you can call me out on LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, on email, Freddie with a Y at speakpodcasting.com if you must. That's a bet. You're putting your reputation on the table, on the line. That's what I'm doing. I'm the founder of a podcast production company, and it behooves me to have a show, but not just once a week, twice a week. Also, you got to bet on a spine. This show punches lies about podcasting and creator life. Every topic has to hit a specific lie, a cliche, a trope. You need big numbers to make money. You need to make money, period. You should quit if your friends don't listen. No more random musings. You pick a lie and you go for the jugular. Then what you do is you bet on distribution. Bet on the platforms you're already on. No more doom scrolling. For each episode, you got to promise yourself one LinkedIn post or Instagram. Better yet, LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube, because hey, why not be omnipresent? One post per platform, and I'm not talking about just posting a link. It's got to be a story or a hot take that stands on its own. One email to your list, even if there are 100 people on it. I've got 120 something on my list. Yes, it's a small list. And if you've got a small list, use it. Back to FedEx. Fred Smith was asked, why did he risk the last company money at the blackjack table? His answer was basically this. What difference did it make? Without fuel, the planes were not flying anyway. And that's your podcast. If you're not willing to bet on sharper content, clearer positioning, and bolder distribution, the show's already dead. And if it's not already dead, it's already dying. You're just doing it slowly and politely. So, what's your $5,000 move? What's the thing that feels a little reckless, but if it pays off, gives your show another 6 months of life? Make that bet this week, and if not this week, next week. Preferably today. And if you don't know where to place that bet, grab the Speke Podcasting Roadmap. It's the exact process used with clients to turn a podcast from nice-to-have content into an actual asset. Go to spekepodcasting.com/roadmap, download it free, and use it to choose your next risky move on purpose, not at a blackjack table. Hey, if you enjoyed this rant, please consider subscribing to the show and sharing with a fellow podcaster in your life. Thanks for listening.